Movie Babies, episode 34. I'm Devin.
I'm Sean.
And this is a trailer review podcast.
We're talking trailers. The trailers that advertise movies and the things that are in them that we like and dislike.
You know, like a movie baby.
What a novel concept. But before we do that, we've got a little special treat in our spooky October continuity with the movie babies.
It's coming to an end, Sean. It's been a sad October. I don't know why I said it was a sad October.
Why was it a sad October?
I don't know, probably.
Yeah, I guess so. We've got our special guest already here. Long time coming, first time caller, Bobby Yost here to set us straight on the films Jigsaw and Insidious: The Last Key. But before we talk about all that stuff, the three of us had a collective experience with also former movie baby, current movie baby, I don't know what you call these people, expat movie baby, Kyle Rowe, in that we went to go to see All Freakin' Night, this film festival in Olympia, Washington, that takes place over 12 hours, whatever, locked in a theater.
From 10 p.m. to, 6 or 7 a.m.?
It's about 6:30 a.m. when we got out of there.
Yeah. Watching ridiculous horror movies and eating garbage and listening to one of the worst hecklers I've ever experienced.
But then we went home and we went to bed, right?
No. We drove immediately to this house and started watching more movies. So what did we find out that we did? We did like 12 movies and...
It was 12 movies in 26 hours, but 3.5 of those hours we were driving back from Olympia.
You need to repeat that, because that does not sound right. That doesn't sound possible. I think you did the math wrong. We watched 12 movies in 10 hours. How did we do it? We don't know. I don't know if we should be celebrated or condemned.
It's unfortunately, I don't think it's our personal best, because I think in horror-thons past, we've just non-stop watched movies for like 72 hours or something like that.
2 straight days or 3 straight days.
Yeah, so
I see a lot of people like post in, like they would do like the Halloween spooky challenge. You watch a Halloween movie a day.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby, how many do you think you've seen?
I have my list in front of me, and today is, the 17th?
Yes.
Earlier today, I watched my 33rd movie of the month.
So you've already...
That's wrong. That can't be right.
You've already passed it.
Yeah. I don't know how... I work full-time.
Yeah.
So, I think I had a couple of strong weekends there as October opened. Yeah, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to see where this goes.
That's pretty good. I think there was a year past where I want to say I did 78 in the whole month. And I think Keith still beat me.
What?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because I watched most of them with him, but he watched a couple more than I did.
Was he counting things he was able to watch at Crazy Mike's while at work?
Ooh, I don't know. It's a good question. Yeah.
I think I just found what's the scariest movie you could ever watch? It would just be watching you guys watch 72 movies in a month.
Yeah, it's pretty
just
terrifying.
The horror of a life wasted.
What is he doing?
They could be doing so many outdoor activities. They could be talking to girls, and getting jobs.
I'll look out the background of the window, and it's like a pretty girl waving, begging you to talk to her, and
we're just in here lighting our farts. Oh God! So we ended up bombing down to Olympia, Washington, and with our good pals Mikish and Aaron Walborg and Nick Dillon, took in 5.
Yeah,
I would say 5 movies. Do you remember what they were?
Bride of Reanimator, Blood Rage, also known as Slasher. Third movie was Eaten Alive, the Tobe Hooper movie. Fourth movie was The Mutilator, also known as Fall Break.
Fall Break.
One of the catchiest theme songs I've ever heard. And closed out with one of the probably the worst movie I've seen all month, which was Kathy's Curse.
God, that was miserable.
It was excruciating.
So I had gone into kind of selling you guys on going to this thing as kind of like my birthday gathering of sorts. But I went into this thinking, that's cool. I've only seen 2 of these movies. The other ones all sound fresh and new and exciting. I didn't bother to watch the trailers for them. I just went off titles. Turns out I had seen all but one of them very, very recently. Someone who curated this program went down the same YouTube-related video hole that I did, and I had seen all these movies. So I gotta say, my favorite of the batch was probably Fall Break. watching it with you guys because of how ridiculous it is.
The sweet spot, a room-esque B-movie kind of charm, fun characters. It's called Fall Break.
Which isn't a thing.
But it is a thing because there's a theme song that runs throughout the movie where it's like Fall Break.
It's like a Full House theme song. Like the movie starts with a sitcom theme song, essentially.
This movie starts as Full House.
There's even like overhead crane shots of them driving, just like there is at the end of the Full House theme song.
Oh my gosh.
It's great. But yeah, they actually fit in the ditty. It might as well be the like Huey Lewis in the News like type of like rip-off band or whatever. Like they put that jingle into the horror score. Later they do the motif of that melody in the score, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? It's just insane.
It was such a hilarious and fun movie to watch with a group.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking for like, what's a fun group movie to watch with my friends? Like Fall Break.
That's the one.
Yeah.
There was a scene, Sean, where this must have been like, what, 3 or 4 in the morning or something?
Yeah.
Probably.
And it's at that point Sean just like broke.
It fall broke me.
There was a scene, I don't even remember what it was. Do you remember?
The character gave a very loaded, no shit response to a character asking a dumb question.
Yeah, so there's a running...
Sean laughed for 10 minutes.
There was a running gag of like them just asking really like obvious dumb questions of like, hey, what's that TV remote
They
for?
kept saying,
and
what's
like,
this? And pointing at things that were like obvious things.
Yeah, that's a TV. That's for the TV. Or like, yeah, that's a statue. And like on one of them, they finally go, like, what was it?
The guy just looks at the girl. He goes, "Well, no shit."
And Sean just did this and did not stop for like the next 4 scenes.
It just got me so good in the funny bone.
In an otherwise dead silent theater. Too.
Yeah. It wasn't like a good punchline moment at all.
No.
But like, Aaron Wahlborg is one of my closest friends. Tyler Swank, also former movie baby, one of my closest friends. Those guys since childhood, every once in a while, some dumb thing will get said that will set us off so bad. And Anna has witnessed this many times where we'll just be on the floor. It'll just be the two of us on the floor, unable to move, just laughing so hard, and nobody else around. It doesn't that contagious laughter where someone else is like, "Oh, you're laughing, and I'm laughing." It goes beyond that to like annoyance levels where it's like, "Fucking get out of get a shovel and get these kids out of here." And it hit, and it hadn't hit in years, and I was like, I needed that. That was good, and all it took was one good no shit.
Mm-hmm. The other movie that I really enjoyed was called The Slasher.
That one was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thanksgiving-themed horror movie about twins, mistaken identity, and drunk mothers eating food out of the garbage can.
The performance of the drunk mother was incredibly good.
Holy shit.
That's another like fun B-movie-esque. It reminded me a lot of The Room, where in The Room Tommy Wiseau's going for like a very poetic. He thinks this movie means a lot more than it is, especially with the ending he tries to pull off.
Yeah.
And this movie, Slasher, does a similar vibe where throughout it's like awful, funny acting. The finale, they try to make it really like poetic and meaningful.
Yeah. It is not. It's a garbage movie.
Yeah,
it's an
great.
Excellent watch with your friends kind of let's laugh at this, not with it kind of movie. I would recommend it for sure.
All right.
So we ended up surviving an onslaught of ridiculous movies in the Capitol Theater, driving back to Bellingham, and then watching
Slither, then Jason X.
Yeah.
The Babysitter, the new Netflix one.
Oh, yeah.
The Hills Have Eyes remake from, I believe, was it 2003?
Something like
somewhere
that.
in there.
Yeah.
Dude Bro Party Massacre 3, which is one of my favorite ones of the month so far. Saw 3, and then closed out the night with Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, which I hadn't seen probably since it came out, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a lot of fun.
Same. I think I'd seen it once on DVD shortly after it came out on video.
So our brains are like fully rotten with horror movies. Yours even more so.
Yeah, absolutely. Just
Bobby, with that amount of movies in less than 1 month, what's the one that stands out? Like, what's your, like, if you have one movie to watch this Halloween, go see this one.
I mean, if you're looking for something fun and self-aware and goofy, that Dude Bro Party Massacre 3, and maybe I was delirious because I was like 40 hours into
We weren't in a good state of mind.
But I was cracking up.
Give me a quick rundown of Dude Bro.
So it's 5secondfilms.com's, like, they were like kind of Vine celebrities or whatever when that was a thing, where they would do like exactly what it says, just like funny videos that were 5 seconds long, and they did a fake trailer as 5-second films of this concept of like, it's Slumber Party Massacre is like a trilogy from back in the day that's like a good exemplifying series of movies that are like, it's naked co-ed girls getting slashed up by a chainsaw or a power drill or what the fuck ever. And they designed this movie after those, but it's all frat boy dudes taking on the like eye candy role, and they've already jumped to the third installment without a first or second installment ever being made, but they keep referencing the other movies in like the genius format that all these other movies, like Silent Night, Deadly Nights, like they all retell the other movies. Like even Evil Dead goes and like retells the other movies in like a catch you up montage. And they keep doing that for these films that don't exist, and it's just very silly, kind of like, I don't know, Patton Oswalt's in it, like...
It reminded me of, because I recently peeped the Danger 5 episodes again.
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of like that style humor.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a little bit absurd, but just not quite as much so as some of the like more out there Adult Swim stuff or anything.
It's not quite Tim and Eric.
But it's approaching that ground.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
That was really fun.
I really liked Happy Death Day.
Yeah. I thought that was not the best movie I've ever seen by any means, but it was a very fun, for a movie coming out in the theaters in October, that had some surprisingly good moments.
Surprisingly #1 at the box office this weekend.
Really?
Take that, Blade Runner.
Wow.
Piece of shit.
Well, between the two of you, you've probably seen, let's say, 100 movies. And if you add me, we've seen like 101. And so, with that said, let's add a couple more to the list, because we got some trailers to review.
We're going to review Jigsaw, the final, if we could maybe potentially say it, the final installment of the Saw quadrilogy, whatever you call it. 8 or 9 movie run series.
Or the start of the new series called Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Jigsaw Lost in New York. But let's put a pin in that. We'll get to that later. And we're also going to review Insidious Tower of 5 Keys, or whatever the fuck the subtitle is this.
Key.
Yeah, thank you. So here's the show.
The blood under the fingernails of our victim, John Kramer, the Jigsaw killer.
That's impossible.
Game's gonna be won. It's Jigsaw.
Intro battle.
Can you Home Alone it?
Can you un-Home Alone it?
Yeah, it's already Home Alone, right?
Jigsaw is basically what Kevin McAllister turns into after Home Alone.
There is an internet theory about this, isn't there?
I hope so,
I think
because
I've
it
stumbled
seems
on this
like
before.
that would be the best thing to have happen in this franchise, right? They release a Christmas version.
Okay, so this is Lionsgate. Who made Home Alone? Home Alone is 20th Century
Okay,
Fox.
makes sense. Yes.
So basically, you do like a Marvel Spider-Man deal, and you go, look,
Tradesies.
yeah, we'll give you the other character in Jigsaw if you give us Kevin. We just
We'll give
need
you Donnie
Kevin.
Wahlberg back.
Yeah, we'll give you Wahlberg. Just give us Kevin so we can like have this, the only saving grace of this franchise. that I've
It's
not
kind of
seen.
perfect. He was abandoned by his family several times, right?
Yeah.
It would cause trauma.
He has the
And-
setup for the trauma.
He knows how to trap a house. He knows how to booby trap a house. He also had the mythology of the South Bend Slayer, his next door neighbor, who was a suspected murderer.
That's right.
So this is a kind of a perfect storm. Maybe he was the
how to murder.
apprentice of
Yeah.
the Shovel Slayer.
Okay, so maybe that's who comes back for Jigsaw, is the neighbor from Home Alone.
That was
Setting it up.
But it's like his daughter.
It's his daughter who was
Okay,
singing in the
sure.
choir.
Yes. Yes. Oh, it's so perfect.
Oh, man.
Hollywood, get at us.
Let's just train wreck your franchises into each other.
So, how many Saw movies are there?
So there's 7 before this one? Is that what we just figured out?
6, and then a 3D one makes 7, and then this would be 8.
This is the 8th one.
But it also sounds like there's been some shorts, so the Saw universe sounds pretty expansive.
And how many have you two seen?
1, 2, and 3 for sure.
Yeah.
We just watched 3 all together
Yeah.
the other day.
I think I've seen the first 5.
Wow. And I've never seen one until our torture fest of a movie-a-thon where I came in and you're like, here's Saw 3.
Yeah.
This will catch you up.
This will catch you
Yeah,
up.
have fun.
My idea of what this franchise is and what these movies are and the reality could not be further from the truth.
Oh, really?
I thought it would be like some sort of like maze themed, like Rube Goldberg-esque, like, and like choices like
Mousetrap.
Mousetrap, like
Yeah.
you can take the cheese, but this will happen.
Gonna flip
Sure.
that man into the pan.
But instead, it was just like pull this and you get shot. It was
Yeah.
like the choices of like, ooh, this is going to be a weighted decisions weren't very intellectually stimulating.
You're right about that. But that was also the thing about number 3 was the protege had taken over for
Right.
Jigsaw, and her thing was she wasn't giving people choices.
Right.
That's why she was fucking it up.
They were just death
Oh.
machines instead
Yeah.
of like, you have a chance to win back your life.
So
rigged
then,
them.
in the previous ones, are the booby traps more fun? Is what I'm asking.
It's
'Cause
more
in
of a
this
would you
one-
rather.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more of an attempt at being a higher level thing where it's like, you squandered your life by doing this, so now here's a situation that's going to emphasize that one thing you squandered and see if you can work through it
Okay.
You
to
have to
save your
learn a
life.
lesson.
Yeah.
Then, is it in your opinion? Is this a good franchise, or the Saw movies
they were
enjoyable?
terrible.
No. Okay.
The first one was fun,
Yeah.
right? The first one was kind of original when it came out.
I think I have said in multiple conversations with people like, "Oh, don't shit on the Saw franchise. Like, they're probably one of the only ones that has like a continuity through all of them. That's like continues to build on the previous movie rather than like resetting and things like that." After our reviewing of 3 the other day, I was like,
Yeah.
"Fuck Saw.
Yeah.
Fuck this franchise."
3 was probably not a good one to jump on board with. So much of it relies on the history of the previous characters, but the film tries to they're obviously expecting me coming into that movie because so many flashbacks of this is what happened, and not only
Right.
flashbacks of previous movies, but also here's what happened 5 minutes ago.
Right.
Well, to be fair though, I feel like, and again, I haven't watched any of these since the theater. So our watching of Saw 3 was the first time I'd seen that since 2000.
Whenever it came out.
Or whenever.
Yeah.
But even then, it was like, oh yeah, I remember what happens here, because they are so baseline in what they're trying to do. And there's constantly, what I remember from the rest of them, there are constantly flashbacks of oh, remember when this happened? Remember when this happened?
Why?
And all of them. And it's totally unnecessary. But then even in 3, we were getting flashbacks to things that you'd never seen before.
Yeah.
Things that were happening while the first movie was going on, or prior even to that story. It's insane.
It's
I mean,
completely
it's just
insane.
like an editing nightmare.
They just throw in things as they see fit to
Yeah.
explain them. Yeah.
It is kind of fitting that we watched Saw 3 out of all of them, because this movie takes place after Saw 3.
Oh,
It's
Jigsaw
exactly,
does?
Yep, it's 10 years after Saw 3, and I guess, spoilers, Jigsaw dies in Saw 3, and so
Right.
now this is his return.
so this one takes place before 4, 5, and 6?
It's 10 years after Saw 3, so I don't think you can do the math on that one.
They fuck themselves. Are they retconning 4, 5, and 6?
I imagine so. So it says here, Saw 3D, the final chapter was going to be the final chapter. And then Lionsgate was like, you know what? I kind of like making money. What if we made a couple more of these?
These idiots keep buying tickets. We spend no money on these movies because they're all flashbacks.
Exactly.
I do like the change from Saw to Jigsaw. Because that's, like, not knowing anything about these movies, that's the only thing I knew about them. Is like,
right.
Oh, there's this Jigsaw character.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting that this is the one named Jigsaw, and it's after that character has died.
I've got a theory.
Back, right?
Okay.
It's not a good theory. It's. I'm kind of trying to think like someone who wrote a Saw movie would think, which is not to say much. Do you remember in Saw 3 when he's kind of on his deathbed the whole time, and at the end he's doing all that, like, explaining, he's doing all that Saw-splaining of, like, you have to make the choice because I was testing you all along, and then that person fucks up, and then the next person's like, no, actually the whole test was about you making the choice, whatever. Remember how he looked like he not only had, like, dyeing makeup on, but just, like, shitty makeup? Like, his makeup looked yellow and, like he was wearing a mask?
Yeah.
Sure.
I kind of feel like that wasn't Jigsaw.
Oh.
I kind of feel like that was either like a robot or like another person with a rubber mask on, or it was all bullshit or whatever.
God, I would love if they Scooby-Doo'd that and they flash back to him like pulling off a rubber mask.
And they're like, you see these bad makeup effects that we did? It wasn't because of our makeup department. It's because we meant to do that.
It wasn't our budget.
We're setting it up.
Part of our plan.
I do love the long con of this. So that was 2006. Saw 3. So over 10 years ago, they planned this moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Poorly. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have a feeling that to make it a Jigsaw movie, you're going to have to see him in the movie. Like, it's just going to be disappointing if he's not somehow alive or still pulling strings or pulling strings from beyond the grave or something.
Right.
I don't know.
I'm imagining it's either we're going to get flashbacks to him training whatever apprentice is in this movie, and it's the same formula as all the other ones, or we're going to get more backstory than we got before as to who this guy was and what his motivation was, even though they kind of half-assed that in some of the other movies where it's like about his dead wife or something like that.
My question is, can they, with the recent success of It, can they kind of revitalize this franchise? You said the first one was kind of fun. Maybe this is kind of like a clean slate, back to basics.
The only thing they could do is make it smarter, but I don't think they have the ability to do that.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes the first one more unique in the series, is that it is kind of a clever twist and an interesting, for the time at least, that it was an interesting way to tell a story that hadn't been done in horror yet.
Which was like
just
fast cuts that
no, there's none of those fast cuts in the first one, or not that I remember.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Because it's happening kind of more in real time.
It's like a one-room, real-time, what's going on, why are we here?
Like in an escape room-esque. Because they're trying to...
Yeah.
That sounds cool. That's what I thought these movies were. And then I watched Saw 3, and there was so much fast cuts. There was no, like, fun dilemmas like that.
It's a Korn music video or something. It's just like, you don't know what's going on. It doesn't, even if you did follow what was happening on the screen or with the audio, it wouldn't make sense.
It's animated.
There's too much explaining. That's the problem with these. All the Splat Pack movies is when they got greedy and they're like, oh, let's make sequels to these. Like, we had the problem of, like, now I have to explain and, like, expand the universe of a very juvenile idea. And what do? You, like, over-explain it and it's not fun anymore.
Right.
I feel like all the best, well, not all the best villains, but, like, kind of like the monster villains, sometimes it's fun to know their backstories, but usually you just want a hint of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like the unknown that's scary.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's much of a way to redeem these. It's just gonna have to be so much more like, but before that happened, and then actually, like, this is not feasible.
Well, Sean, you did say to make this movie better, it would have to be smarter. They have 2 writers on this film. They're
just rewriting each other.
It's double the writers.
They have 2 directors for this film.
What?
So that's not only double the brain, that's quadruple the brain power.
It's more dicks to step on.
My guess is this movie will feel like two separate writer-director teams made two different movies, and they edited them together, and it doesn't make any sense.
That's highly likely the problem. Here's my solution to it. Give this movie to someone who was, like, totally against these movies from the get-go.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody who was just like, fuck, this torture porn shit is bullshit. Like, this is terrible. Like, whoa. There's no point to any of this. Give it to someone who hated the franchise.
Yes.
Let them do it.
Yeah.
Not going to say make it a woman, but you probably should make it a woman. And have it just be, like, refed to us in kind of this, like, kind of making fun of it kind of way, but also kind of trying to, like, give it some integrity or whatever.
I can just see, like, the directors meeting, like, the studio meeting. So, you have this female character, but instead of torturing her, she's escaping and she's, like, outsmarting people?
Yeah.
Can you make her a little dumber?
Can we make her more topless? I don't know, like, it could be like a Punisher Warzone thing, or like the director for that. She was just like, I was just making fun of this dumbass shit. And it's the best one!
Right.
It's so fucking good.
You should get her in to make the next song.
Yes,
that would be
exactly.
amazing. Yeah. God, that is great. Her or Catherine Bigelow.
Alright, so walk me through what we actually see in this trailer. Because there's some...
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have one thing here. Something unusual for this franchise is a corpse being just left out in public, right? Usually these are taking place in warehouses or weird, like, people are being kidnapped, taken to a location.
Yeah, alternate realities, right. It seems like.
But this one opens with a corpse out in the open starting the situation.
Hanging off a bridge, or in Devin's explanation, flying.
Yeah, we have a flying corpse.
It looks like you don't see the person hanging. It looks like the opening to like a reboot of Heroes or something. It's flying above and everyone's looking.
Maybe that's the twist in this one.
Is they all have superpowers.
It's actually Heroes. It's a prequel to that.
This time we'll get it right, we swear.
Yeah, so we got a body out in the open, and then some kind of team of CSI people start pulling it apart. They find a puzzle piece. They find this hard drive.
And everybody immediately knows what the fuck is going on. All the people that we see in the situations of being, like, kidnapped, all the doctors and everybody are like, but Jigsaw's been dead for 10 years. They know, like, exactly what's going on.
We're following a dead man.
Yeah.
Did you see that third movie? It sucked. That franchise is dead.
They've been talking about it.
We also find, like, evidence with actual puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was another idea of what I had of Jigsaw. I was like, oh, is he like a puzzle master? Is he like a Batman rogue?
The Riddler.
That's
like
in
the
the other
Riddler.
ones, too, that his victims, they would find with, like, little puzzle piece cutouts.
See, I like that.
That's,
And then the detective has to, like, literally put a puzzle together to solve the case.
It's like the Snowman movie. It just, like, relies on a very stupid, childish gimmick.
Yeah.
Okay, and so, but it's not... The doctors aren't the ones that have the bucket helmets in the torture room. This is just a different cast of...
Yeah, I think because they show the, like, bucket face thing in one of the first scenes of the trailer, and then later on in the trailer you see a bunch of people chained against a wall that all have those bucket heads.
Yeah.
Let's kind of go over some of the booby traps we saw.
Okay.
And if we can make out
There's
what's
a lot of saws.
going on.
Yeah. A lot of saw blades.
Which seems appropriate.
Right, yeah.
There's a lot of saw blades and there's a lot of just, like, brain twisters, like mind twisters.
It looks like first they have bucket heads, and they're chained to these walls that are pulling them towards this, like, wall of saw blades, which looks like, because they end up in another room later, they take the buckets off, but they're still being pulled into another room.
It's just that simple. It's like,
They're being pulled
hey, wait a
through.
minute.
Take the bucket off!
Oh, we did it. We solved it. Or it's like, oh, we're handcuffed. It's like, oh, wait, I don't think it's locked. Oh, yeah, just slide it right off.
That would be amazing.
It's like one of those when, like, teachers would try to trick you by, like, having questions that are like, if you're reading this sentence, put a star in the corner. And
You'll
then,
get 10
like,
points extra credit.
Yeah, and then, or it's like, don't write your name on here.
Jigsaw's just looking to see if you're paying attention to the game that he put you into.
Yeah.
And if you are, you don't die.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, good job. You just lifted the bucket off your head.
Yeah.
You win the game.
Right.
I left that back door open the whole time. Nobody thought to leave out the back door.
He's waiting outside with pizzas and like beer.
We got blade walls. We got a silo full of grain with farming implements dropping on the people inside.
There's a lot of farm stuff in this one, but a lot of city shots too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
There's the motorcycle that's like running, like the back wheels on some kind of treadmill or something, and then the girl throws something into the wheel to like stop the wheel
Oh, maybe
from
that's
moving.
what's pulling their chains.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Solution.
Yeah. There's like needle fingers. Somebody like pulls up like a Freddy Krueger hand and needle fingers.
That's pretty cool.
There's a gun.
Oh yeah, there's a shotgun on some type of like vice type thing.
And they're, I don't know if they normally this high tech and futuristic. Someone had like neck brace on, but then lasers coming out of it.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, there's like one...
Wait, Bobby, you missed it.
I missed the
There's
neck lasers.
lasers coming out of it.
I must have been writing something.
You remember the bucket head and like the farm life. There's
missed the
lasers coming out of his neck.
I missed a whole
brace.
light show. Okay.
yeah, that's
Bobby
like an
would
update.
die day one.
He wasn't paying attention.
That's right. I was thinking about something else.
It's like an update of the, I think it's 2, that the poster was the bear trap over the head one.
I think so.
This is like the lasers in place of the bear trap.
Yeah. So they're like, see, it's different.
Yeah, it's more Star Warsy. You kids like lasers. We had a good long riff when we were like sleep deprived and watching 3, kind of trying to come up with who was responsible for like being the construction crew
Oh my
for like
God.
assembling these rooms,
That's right.
and like who's in charge of like the zoning and interfacing with the city to make sure that like the municipality of everything is
The
like
number
up to code.
of warehouse rentals necessary for this, like, it's insane.
And the different types of rooms too is like, okay, this room, it's a freezer.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting frozen. And then the room right over, it's like an oven.
Yeah, who are the contractors coming in to do this work where they're like, I just need a freezer room that'll spray everything with like really cold water.
Oh yeah, we could do that probably by like next Thursday or Friday. No, I need it today because we're gonna
Kinda
torture
need
the
today.
people today. Nah, I can't do it by today.
And if you're the detective, isn't that the first place you go to?
The warehouse district.
Yeah, and you're like, do you have any strange like jobs recently? I was like, well, I did make a fire pit room with lasers coming out of it.
That guy just likes barbecue, you know?
There was some like internet show that was like kind of like a cops, but it was with the stormtroopers or whatever. Kind of like the day-to-day of like the Star Wars stormtroopers, but it's like it's filmed like an episode of Cops, so they're like talking to the camera and like, oh, I gotta go deal with these Jawas.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen that.
They need to be a spin-off series of Saw where it's the construction crew.
Oh, yeah.
Just being like their day-to-day, like a House Flippers style show where they're like warehouse flipping them into Jigsaw torture rooms, just being like, we just need a water main hookup here at noon. Why can't we get this shit done in a timely fashion?
And the spin-off is like the janitor clue after. It's just like, there's like mopping up blood and like like the messes from the previous.
The blueprint was upside down the whole time.
That's the most disturbing thing about these movies to me is the level of automation involved that's being supposedly built by this guy who is terminally ill with
Because
cancer.
one man, right? Is just Jigsaw doing this?
Well, and then all these apprentices that the sequels have been about. But I don't know if those were like supposed to be going on simultaneously or like, because in 3 we saw the one of them.
Because she was acting on her own after being trained.
Right. But even then, so you have this one person
Yeah.
who's like constructing these huge elaborate warehouses full of these big giant mousetraps.
And you're right, and they do like take into account precisely like if you don't step right here at this time, like
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is why I would not win at Saw. Like I would just lose. I would lose Saw because I'm so bad with directions. Like I'd listen to the tape and I'd be like, okay, and then I'd like just walk to the wrong door.
Right.
And then be like another person and I'm like,
No, Devin, sorry. Was I not clear in the tape?
yeah, the door.
No. You need to put the shotgun in your mouth.
Oh, I got rid of the shotgun. I didn't know I needed it. I didn't know I needed that one. I put the key in the gutter. I thought it was Okay.
You'd probably end up in the other room with the contractors that are getting ready for the next round of kidnapping.
Or it's like I just opened the door and it would be Jigsaw like in his underwear watching the video on it.
How the fuck did you?
I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I did it. I'll go back.
You're wrong door.
Let me try again.
You wanted the third left.
Me and Lane went to Linden to go to the corn maze a couple weeks ago, and that was like exactly what I thought was going to happen. It was like we were going to walk into the corn maze and like take the first turn and just be out of it and be like, what the fuck? Like, we can't get our money's worth here.
I just want a good maze movie.
How about a Maze Runner? Isn't that
Well,
like...
How about a Dave Made a Maze?
Okay.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Dave Made a Maze is probably the closest one. Maze Runner, I haven't seen the movie. I tried to read that book. I couldn't get through it.
They don't spend a lot of time in a maze.
They don't spend a lot of time in the maze, and like the plot is like the most contrived. Like we're doing it because we need to test. It was BS.
Yeah.
I want me just a fun maze movie.
Just like a labyrinth, run around. Just solve the maze. That's all you're trying to do.
Maze, and you gotta like. There's like a minotaur. And there's like a dragon. And there's
So that's a labyrinth.
I just want a Dungeons and Dragons movie, I think.
Okay.
Or a Gauntlet. Remember that game Gauntlet?
Yeah, that one was great.
That'd be good.
All right. Hollywood?
Well,
Hollywood
service
there we
us.
go.
Also get at us for that one.
It's Gauntlet meets Jigsaw. So Jigsaw's
Meets
designed the maze, but it's a bunch of like barbarians and sorceresses running around. It's like a little elven dwarf guy.
He's just a dungeon master.
Yep. He's just DMing.
He kind of is. He's DMing this whole thing by the time he gets sick, right?
But is he metagaming? Because I hear that's not allowed.
Can't metagame. Well, in Saw 2, you did. It's like, no, you weren't supposed to watch that. Should we rate this movie?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Okay, so Bobby, I know you're sometime listener, sometime you take a hiatus, and that's absolutely reasonable. But we do use this rating system.
I got it down.
Oh, you know it? Okay.
Yeah.
If you care to explain it to the audience, that would be helpful.
So, based on from a few years ago, We're All the Same When the Lights Go Down, Coca-Cola ad that berated Regal customers for several years, we have top tier, like a lot.
So you cool if I scream, like a lot.
I want to see this. I'm in all the way. Below that, we have In Space with Zombies.
In space with zombies.
Meaning you're basically distracted by the bright lights, what's going on. It could use a little extra something to make you really want it, but you're going to go just because. Bottom tier, I love robots.
I love robots.
So distracted. All you're thinking about is robots and how much you like them.
That nails it.
Pretty much it. Okay.
Yeah. What did this Jigsaw trailer do for you?
Because you're basically an expert.
So I am not a good person for rating these things because I basically go see everything, even knowing if it's garbage.
Yeah. I am not a good person, is what he says.
I am not a good person. I will see most movies in the theater, even if I know they're going to be terrible, just because years of working for Regal skewed my perspective on what a good life is. So I'm going to give this In Space with Zombies.
Okay.
Simply because I will probably see it. Although I shouldn't really necessarily even say that because I didn't see like the last 4 of these Saw movies apparently.
Yeah.
I'm curious enough about this one and which direction it's going to go that I'll probably go see this in the theater, but I am in no way like going to be disappointed if I miss it, but I also don't hate it.
What could this use to like spiff up your attitude about it a little bit?
The thing that would make me absolutely go see this on opening day is if there was a Home Alone tie-in.
If they caved into the internet theories.
Oh my gosh! If we had even like a hint of like, like just the couple first bars of the theme song of Home Alone, even I would be standing in line waiting to buy a ticket for this.
So we're joking, but we're at like the peak of like 90s nostalgia. We're at the peak of like meta humor is like
It would
the
be
top
perfect.
tier.
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin is at the peak of his creepiness to the point that he could just drop by and be like no makeup or
'cause
anything dropped into this movie.
He is the villain. Yeah, he'll
It'd be
he'll
amazing.
play himself.
Yeah.
He is perfect for
I
it.
think you just ended movie babies with like that is exactly what needs to happen. To the ultimate Home Aloneing would be to reveal Jigsaw's
That
Kevin
was
McAllister.
episode 1.
Yeah.
We asked, can you Home Alone it? Bob, you just solved it. It took us, what episode is this?
34.
It took us 34 episodes.
And a bunch of college years.
And 100 college years. And we went to college multiple years.
Super seniors.
But all that studying paid off because we solved the ultimate question.
Can you Home Alone?
Can you Home Alone it?
question.
Yes, you
Perfect.
can.
I would love it.
You just have to jigsaw.
I would be on board. I would go back and watch every one of these movies to build up to what clues, like, did I miss that was there the whole time.
See, and that would be something that I like if James Wan was like, you know what? What's the shithead George Lucas? You know what George Lucas had right about all his retconning of the Star Wars movies, going back and doing editions where there's a little extra CG guy in the corner here. You go back, you re-release all these on Blu-ray with just a tiny little hint of like, why is there a Michael Jordan cardboard cutout in the background of that shot?
Why is there a tarantula?
The water's always running in the background of the warehouses.
He is Marv and Harry are his like henchmen proteges.
That would explain they're the contractors.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe they're the guys.
Yes.
They got legitimate work after going to prison the second time, and it was working as contractors.
And they're like, if we
building
can't beat
murder
you,
warehouses.
we will join you.
Yeah.
What if, too, like, so the ending of this movie, Home Alone Jigsaw Edition, is, so the detectives barge in, you're under arrest, and they're not arresting him for the murders. They're arresting him for when he stole that toothbrush at the convenience store. And that's
We've been looking for that kid for 25
That's what puts him away?
Yeah, because they couldn't prove the other stuff as Jigsaw.
got him
Like,
on that?
there's not enough evidence.
But we got him on camera.
We got him on
Oh my
camera. Stealing this toothbrush is the only thing that will put him away.
Is this toothbrush recommended by the American Dental Association? I don't know, kid.
It's recommended by the FBI. You're under arrest, punk.
I mean, the other big clue is he's always using that talk boy.
Oh, to do his
Put his clues into it.
Yeah.
He's
So
always recording
that's
messages.
the thing. Is like
Wow.
you roll a little further in the tape, and it's like, Sonny Boy Jim, you've been convicted of being mean to your wife, so you got to saw your own leg off. And then they keep listening to the end of the tape, and it kind of clicks over, and there's like an edit point, and it's like, "Hi kids, we're home early."
Well, and then they keep going, and it's like, cool jerk, cool jerk.
Okay, I think I'm into this.
We have never movie babied so hard before.
I'm gonna go in on this as well. All my chips are on In Space with Zombies with the coda that we have Kevin McAllister behind it all. Devin?
Okay.
I think that would be the win.
I'm tempted to give it I Love Robots. Probably not going to see this. Didn't enjoy the last one I saw. This trailer's not really convincing me of anything. I can't tell you really what happened in the trailer, but I am going to bump it into In Space with Zombies because I like the sad slow song with a horror mix.
Yeah.
They Buddy Hollied it where they just, oh, this seems like a nice song, and it's like, oh no,
Right.
what's going on here? There's murder and there's torture. So I'll give the trailer credit for
Okay.
that.
Yeah, it's a good trailer.
I do like that song in there. That's one of my favorite Roy Orbison songs.
Definitely, and it's like kind of perfect for that. Like all the lyrics actually just beyond like the titular line is like, oh yeah, because there's like a choice in the song. And
Right.
blah, blah. Yeah, it's great. It's perfect. It's
Yeah,
very,
so
It's good.
for a movie that I have no interest for, like, good job trailer.
Yeah.
they did it.
Last thing we should mention before we close this round out, well, I'll just read it.
Okay.
It says, Internet Movie Database, our sponsor. Do not pay us to just pay me in headaches trying to navigate their site. It says, a soft reference to Jigsaw was shown in the movie Insidious 2010.
No.
Did we see a little puppet Jigsaw guy?
It was a drawing of the clown puppet on a chalkboard with
remember
the
that.
number 8 beneath it.
Yeah, I do remember that. It's at one of the colleges, or like it's on a whiteboard during a lecture or something like that. I do remember seeing that and being like, what the fuck?
Why are these movies related? Did we movie baby it long?
Well, let's say, so maybe we save a little bit of this conversation for our Insidious review, which is coming up here, because Bobby's just re-explained to me all the Insidious movies, and because we were trying to figure out how they're not in the Conjuring universe.
Right.
Because I'm kind of somehow convinced that those overlap in a way.
Yeah.
But if they exist in the Saw universe and all this Blumhouse stuff exists in the same universe, I might be back in.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That could send me off the rails.
All right. Well, you heard it here, folks. Don't touch that dial. We'll be back with more movie babies after these messages.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I'm gonna find it, and I'm gonna finish it.
Please, there's someone right in front of you. I don't see anything. Be careful. You're going to touch it.
Yeah, let's crack open a brewski, fellas. We got our RC cherries.
RC Cherry Brewski.
Oh boy. Intro battle. Insidious.
Okay, what? Insidious, more like it's hideous.
Okay, take it.
Oh my gosh.
Now, Bobby, you do one.
You guys are way better at this than I am.
We've had a lot of practice.
Insidious, more like Insidious?
It's more like Insidious.
It's
than
more like
Insidious.
Insidious than yeah.
It's more human than human.
It's more human than human. That's the best I've got.
That's pretty good. We're back. We got Bobby Yost, and we're talking Insidious 4, The Last Key. Am I right about it?
Number
It's
4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although, if it's like Saw the Last, was it Saw the Last Battle or whatever?
Yep.
The Last Jedi.
The Last Jigsaw.
So in 10 years, this one's going to get rebooted. So
Yeah.
why bother?
Right.
Okay, another installment in the long lineage of Blumhouse movies that we're not really sure. Do they overlap? Are they a part of the same universe? Are they their own little threads? It's the kooky, spooky story of a medium and her shenanigan adventures in the Further, which is not unlike Beetlejuice's Netherworld. Bring back captured children from demonic creatures that live in this bizarro version of your own house, and shenanigans ensue. I don't know.
I wish you were
summate this.
explaining this to me while we were watching this trailer. All I got was we got to go further into the Further, and I was like, all right, I don't know what that means.
I think at this point in this franchise, we're basically off the rails with like, let's get the zany adventures of Elise the medium and her kooky like Geek Squad guys.
Yeah.
Because the third one ends with them being like, maybe we should do this full time.
Okay, yeah. And so speaking on that, since you are a resident expert because you've just recently watched
today
this,
watched the third one
Perfect.
and watched the first 2 over the last 2 days.
explain to us where we are in the timeline, because the trajectory of
Okay.
this whole thing is quite loopy.
So there's implied spoiler alerts.
Spoiler
with all
abound.
this, right?
Don't listen to this if
So-
you haven't seen Insidious.
Elise, the older woman that's the medium in these movies, dies at the end of the first movie.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
But she's
in
in
the third
this
one,
She's been in all
she's
of
in
them.
and she's in all of them. This movie, she already knows the 2 Geek Squad looking guys with their white shirts and black ties, who are her like helpers. They get introduced in the third movie, which takes place before the first movie. So this has to be somewhere between the third and first movies.
Okay, so... Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
How much does that hurt?
I just got a tumor in my
Yeah,
head.
here's the fun thing. As far as I understand it, it's kind of like Halloween. Insidious 1 and 2 take place right after each other.
Yes, like immediate.
Okay. 3 is the, what do you call it, prequel
Yeah.
to 1.
Yep.
4 is between 3 and 1.
Yes. And here's the
And
fun thing
right
about...
before, and it's supposed to happen as the events right before number 1, as far as what
Okay.
I've read on the internet.
I wouldn't be surprised by that, that it's a lead-in to that this is the transition we get. Because in 3, she is still, like... The beginning of 3 is the medium woman has, like, given up do any of this. She doesn't want to do it anymore. It's too dangerous. And then at the end of 3, she's like, she actually says, yeah, I mean, this is going to keep me out of the house, so let's go do it.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
mind-boggling.
We need to
Devin's having a meltdown.
Walk me through this. One, she's an old woman.
Right.
She's getting... I'm not sure how everything works, but I'm pretty sure you get older as time goes on.
You'd think so.
Okay, in the 3rd movie, she headbutts a ghost.
That's not what...
Pushes it through
Bobby,
like a
Bobby,
wall.
you misunderstand me. I'm not getting on her old age because I'm questioning her toughness.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying she's physically going to look like an older lady. If these movies are supposed to be before the first one, which is like 7 years ago, I looked at my clock, I looked at my hand watch, 7 years ago, how are they explaining like that she's older and then all of a sudden in the next movie you watch, she's like younger?
Well, I also, to piggyback on that bullshit, I also love that in this movie she's like, I've dealt with some shit before, and they flash back to the monsters from 1 and 2 and 3, which she wouldn't have fought yet.
Right, yeah, which is... So there's some weird stuff going on
we
all
know,
around.
the timeline's all goofed up.
Yeah, and which is fun also because in the second one there's cool stuff. So, okay, the second one of these movies is what did it for me on this franchise, in terms of me liking this franchise.
So you do like it?
I do like this franchise. After watching the 3rd one today, I'm surprised that I'm saying that. But and really even rewatching the second one, the end of it falls apart pretty good. But I remember seeing the second one in the theater. After seeing the first one, being like, oh, this is kind of fun. And then the end of it being very disappointed with the reveal of the monster. But then seeing the second one in the theater, I think we had a big crew for that.
Yeah, we did.
There was like a bunch of us went and saw it in the theater opening night. And the way it kicks off in the beginning where it's like, you have this super creepy opening scene where it's the older woman's voice, but it's dubbed over onto a younger actor because it's supposed to be her like 20 or 30 years before. So it has this very creepy vibe to it. And then it builds this whole mythology in those first like 30 minutes or half hour of the movie, where I got really excited about the idea of having this new franchise that's taken off, where like Nightmare on Elm Street or like the Halloween movies, even what those did in the 70s and 80s, where it's like you build this big world.
Sure.
And then that all falls apart by like the 3rd movie, where it's just garbage.
But instead of instead of growing this world, we're going back into it.
It's a weird idea.
Also,
it's very strange.
The last thing I would touch on about this timeline, if this is like the prequel to another prequel, but the afterwards of another prequel, why is this called The Last Key? It just adds to the confusion.
Yeah, it really does.
The Last Key implies it's the last movie of the franchise.
There's some major key stuff going on in this trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all into keys.
I've never seen any of these, Bobby. I've never heard of these movies. And the first thing I see is a monster attack a woman. His finger turns into key.
All his fingers are keys.
Yeah.
They're in the town.
He's got
of
5 keys.
5 keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're in
He's the
town.
5 key monster.
The monster of the 5 key kingdom comes and gets the lady. He puts his key finger in her throat and he turns it, and that kind of shuts her voice off.
Yeah, he like locks her screams away.
Okay.
That's cool.
And then
that's like a cool
It's
thing.
a cool idea. It's like a very Guillermo del Toro moment, right?
And so is that all he does, or does he murder her after?
Well,
that's it.
Yeah, I think it's hard to tell because they throw a couple young blonde girls at us, and they're all kind of gooed up, so I can't tell who's who. But I think that gal ends up being trapped in the further.
Yeah.
Which is the netherworld.
Is that what the key does? Is the key sending them to the upside down?
We don't know, because when Elise goes through the further, she has a key that opens a room that's like a cabin in the woods room where all these further inmates.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Jen. You have to say hey, Jen.
Hey, Jen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's just, the thing will melt down if we don't.
It's like an Insidious curse. You gotta do the key or the monster comes after us.
So there's all these trapped demons or lost souls or whatever, because in the further, we know this from the other movies, there are also just like passive, like I'm trapped here too, I'm kind of a helper spirit, or like a I'm fucked
They call
spirit.
those like travelers in the franchise.
Okay.
There are the people that are just like wandering around, astral projecting, or like dead and stuck in between.
It's like a
And
purgatory.
Yeah, but then there are also like demons or things that are malicious trying to get into empty vessels.
All right, Bobby, I need you to look at my face. It's still just Bobby, I need you to like Dr. Seuss. A is for apple, D is for Dracula. This for me. What? We have a key monster?
Yeah.
Is this
We've never
the-
seen this character before.
No, this is all
is a
new.
brand new
Oh yeah,
character.
this is new.
So who are the other monsters? Are they on the key monster's side?
You may
Are
or
they-
may not like this, but there's a new monster for every movie.
Right. But there's also been there's one monster that's been there for the last 3 in the background of the third one, but was the primary thing in the first 2.
Oh, what is he?
It's
is he in
a
this one?
old woman.
No, that's the star of the movie. Bobby. You're confused.
There's the bride in black, which is like actually the son of this older woman who is the person that kills the medium, Elise. And then the third one is revealed has been like hunting her in the further for like years.
So we got like a Monster Squad all-star team of monsters.
Sort of. I mean, we
Yeah,
could.
they're making their own little...
So that's my suspicion on
Okay.
this.
Sean, let me explain it in terms you will get. It's kind of like Doctor Who, where you have
Right.
all these different villains, and then like the timeline doesn't really make sense. You just kind of go with it. 'cause it's fun.
Yeah. Except for Doctor Who is sci-fi, and that's your realm. Insidious is horror, that's my realm. That's where
Right.
we'll have to live on these sides of the line.
Well, unless they like combine the two.
Maybe it's all one universe. We don't know. That brings me to my other point. So every time you, me, Kyle, and Keith get together and we talk about, oh, do you remember in Annabelle? Do you remember in Insidious? Blah, blah, blah. We couldn't figure out for the life of us what characters are from, because the designs
Yeah.
are all the same and it's a lot of the same kind of shit.
Between
like this,
3 people that have seen these movies.
we've seen them all.
Yeah.
And in the last couple of years, we couldn't figure out what's an Annabelle character, what's an Insidious character, and what's a Conjuring character.
Right.
And all 3 of these have been like interweaving concurrently for the last, whatever, 5-10 years. I don't even remember at this point. But I think upon your viewing of in the Insidious movies, we have hammered out
Yes.
that Annabelle is in the Conjuring universe.
Yes.
The nun character is in the Conjuring universe.
Right. The bride in black.
Bride in Black is
which
in
is like a
Insidious.
veiled black dress. It's a man in a woman's dress.
Right.
But then there's also his mother, which is an older looking version of the same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I like the old days where it's like Chucky's in Chucky.
Yeah.
It is in it. Like it's simple.
Well, so if the little Easter egg Whoa.
That's cool. Nothing happened. It was haunted. Woo, spooky.
If the little Easter egg of the Saw character being tagged in the Insidious universe is any potential connection that all these things might be more connected, I feel like that's to the advantage of all these movies. Like if, what are they called? The fucking found footage movies where there's shit flying around.
Oh,
their
the
houses.
paranormal activities ones, yeah.
If all those and everything, if all this stuff exists in the same thing, that's probably like the best thing they could do at this point.
Yeah, I'm scared of how they would fit the Saw movies together with the Insidious movies.
Heard it here first. Bobby's scared.
I'm scared about that.
Scaredy cat.
If that were to happen, they just seem like such. You have like ghost stories and a slasher movie. Mixing together. So that seems like a leap more than like.
But we already have that because there's the murderer, the bride in black is already like a
serial killer thing, yeah.
So maybe Jigsaw is a demon, and that's why he can't die because he's some type of insidious demon.
So the writer of all of these Insidious movies is also the writer of several of the Saw movies.
The first 3, I think.
He's the goofball guy with glasses in the Insidious movies. That's one of the like investigators, and then Saw he's the person in Saw that wasn't in The Princess Bride.
Yes.
So there is a possibility then that maybe there will be some.
Oh, like he's the same character from those 2 movies?
He's writing it.
That would be. Doesn't that guy die in Saw, or does he?
Yeah. But does he?
But maybe, yes.
Oh.
Maybe he's in on it. Maybe he's in on
You
it.
guys, I did it.
I think you just blew this thing wide open.
I haven't even started, Bobby. I just cracked the case. I just got the end game. So spoiler to the future Saw Insidious movie.
Let's let a guy who's not seen but
Yes.
like one of these
Put 'em
entire
together.
things unify the universe.
I'm
for
gonna
us.
fix these movies. Let me fix it.
Go for it.
The Key Man, he is the skeleton Key Man. So
Okay.
every puzzle that Jigsaw makes,
Ooh.
he can just unlock them.
He's the guy there for the contractors, unlocking the doors.
Exactly. So
okay.
we have like a unbreakable split situation where these two forces, Jigsaw from the Saw movies and the skeleton Key Man from the Jigsaw movies, they come together, and the skeleton Key Man, like Jigsaw's like, I'm gonna make the ultimate booby trap, and then Key Man's like, yeah, what's this? Hand keys.
Did it.
And he's like, "Oh, you blasted Key Man! you've solved my lock riddle."
And that's what's causing Jigsaw to like escalate his his kill rooms he's doing.
And then maybe there's another.
That'd be good.
What's a ghost movie? Annabelle.
Ghost?
So then
Okay.
Annabelle movie, it comes into play when that witch's curse makes the Jigsaw puppet actually come alive, and now that's like an Annabelle type creature, and it's doing witchy, spooky things.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with you.
And the ghosts are building the rooms. That's what I would want to see, is like they got a bunch of ghosts, bunch of spooky people in there building these saw chain
It's like
motorcycle
13
rooms.
ghosts. They're making the rooms.
Oh my gosh.
It's all tied together.
Who knows spooky better than a ghost?
Exactly.
That's very true.
All right. I like where you're going with this. So.
So this movie.
So this
yeah.
trailer,
We have some things in there that are clues about a plot.
Yeah.
I feel like what's going to happen is this is after that third movie where Elise is like, let's go on some adventures, let's help some people, I'm ready to get back in this game. And then it turns out something's going on because they make a reference to it being her family's house
Right.
that's haunted.
Right.
So she's like going back to whatever got her into this whole world of pursuing being a medium, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
or a
But-
Ghostbuster, it seems like.
Yeah, the Ghostbuster,
Yeah.
basically, right? And is trying to solve some kind of curse or whatever our key monster
Right.
is.
She says she has to find out what it is so she can end the
end it.
curse.
Right.
I mean, I feel like you just move, right?
Well, in that brings up an interesting point, though. So in all the other movies, they've tried that.
Oh, they tried moving.
They're like, oh, we got to move. There's ghosts in this house, right?
Thank you.
And then they move, and it keeps happening. This is like
can't get away from that.
like how in every Spider-Man movie they give you the origin story over and over again.
Yeah.
Like by the time you watch the third one of these movies, you're like, you can't move, you can't do that, it's not gonna work. And they spend like a half hour explaining why
Like,
that's the case. So it's that it's attached to a person, not to the house. But in this one, in the trailer, they specifically say this is a haunted house.
Yeah. She says this one's different. It's the house.
Yeah.
And so the key man is just tied to this house rather than.
In which case, burn down
people.
the fucking house,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah. That seems
But
like
it's
a
her,
no-brainer.
it's her family house.
oh, so
So the title's still in her name.
Yeah.
It's just like she needs the mortgage.
it looked too suspicious.
Yeah. I have a feeling that most of this movie is going to be an unnecessary backstory of her, where one of these blonde girls we're seeing is probably young Elise or teenage
Oh, that
Elise
could
or
be
whatever.
interesting. Yeah.
And we're going to witness her fiasco, like dealing with this initial key monster the first
Sure.
time and kind of learning about her power and so on. And then trying to kind of close the loop on this happening for another family that lives there.
Sure.
That's just a guess.
This is what I don't get about these kind of monster movies. Why do they have the most complicated plots? You think like a scary, spooky movie, sure, like make a franchise of it, but you'd want it like a Monster of the Week, like X-Files or like Buffy episode, where it's like anyone can like go in, it's like, here's Insidious 14, doesn't matter, I can go in, never seen any of the previous ones, and figure it out. Like,
Right.
she's a medium, here's the new monster, it's like a self-contained movie.
I mean, and in a way you can, because these movies do re-explain to you the mythology each chapter. Here's a theory. This is a pet theory. What if the formula for this is confuse your audience with a bunch of mumbo jumbo that doesn't like necessarily make sense, just so you're in a state of like what the fuck confusion, so that then when they hit you with the jump scares, you're way off guard.
Okay.
Like it's just a simple dumb screenwriting formula, maybe.
And that is something too with the third one versus the first two of these. The number of jump scares increased like tenfold in the third one.
Lazy.
That was going to be my question. Is the last It movie? I don't see a lot of horror films, but when I went and saw the last It movie, what kind of stopped me from really liking it was so many of those jump scares, so much of the like loud noises, and it's like I don't find those spooky.
And so the first two of these Insidious movies are very creepy. There are scenes that are like more creepy looking things, like in the shadows in the background that you'll see, whereas the third one of these is just nothing but like, oh my gosh, there's arms reaching down from the ceiling and they got you, kind of stuff. And it's just like
shocking someone and like surprising someone is not scary,
right?
Like what's scary is like days later thinking about it,
right?
And a shock scare is not going to give you that.
Now, there's also a closing jump scare in the third one where the demon from the first one pops up. His face pops up right behind Elise. So I wonder if they're going to use this to try to connect those dots to bring it back into the first one.
I don't want dots connected.
Don't need any dots.
But that ellipses might jump over this movie just as like a crappy like ex post facto, like
it's like a throwaway in the background.
Foreshadowing of one.
I don't want to connect the dots. I don't want like the paint by numbers. I want to take all the crayons and put them in one fist and then just color all over the paper and make a rainbow of like shit, and that will be what I would love to see. Bobby, to go into your example of the first two kind of being a little more creepy versus this shocking jump scares, this trailer kind of has a mix of both, and the perfect example I had was when they have the Ghostbuster gear on, and it's like the infrared, but it's green, so infrared green.
It's right in front of you.
It's right in front of you, and you see it, and it's just like a creepy lady, and she's like trying to touch it, and it's like that's actually pretty like creepy. And then without skipping a beat, we have a scary noise and a jump scare of the older woman with like this weird generic unrelated monster.
Yeah, it's like what Aquaman would look like if he really existed.
I wanted to give, jumping into the ratings, which we'll do soon, I wanted to give it like a lot just based off of that creepy thing, and then it undercut it right after. Seconds later.
They're kind of updating a thing that this franchise is famous for. Like, you might remember from the second movie's trailer where, like...
I do remember.
The guy's like, there's a guy, he's right in front of you, he's telling you some shit. You gotta listen to this guy, because the main dude's, like, in the further with this helper guy, and he's like, what are you talking about? I can't see anything. And then it cuts to further vision, where there's just a creepy naked old man right in his face just going like, go over there, go over there. It's just like
gobbledygook. It looks like the creepy Bilbo Baggins from the Hobbit movies. Just screaming in this guy's face, screaming, he's got your baby. He's got your baby.
Yeah. So it's like they keep doing this, and it goes back from the first one when he's having the conversation with the wife or whatever, and then red face guy shows up over his shoulder. So it's
they do that same exact scare at the end of the third one.
That's right. Okay, I forgot about that. Yeah, it's kind of part and parcel for the thing. I mean, it's like one of their like known scares. So I can see why they're up. It's like the laser mask in Saw. It's like, well, we're just trying to spoof up our old recipe.
We got these lasers. We got these jump scares. We got to put them in somewhere.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this one tips on that scale, because you do see shots from the other movies, and that one shot where it's the kid's bedroom, there's like a little kid in bed, but over to the left corner you see the hand and just like the side of the monster in the room. There's a lot of those in the first two where it's just like you can plainly see from a distance, which I always think is scarier, is like seeing the whole room and then just finally noticing, like,
Yes.
oh, fuck,
Yeah.
that thing is right there.
One of the few horror movie franchises I did get on board was the Paranormal Activity
Yeah.
movies, because it was fun to get a group of people,
Yeah.
watch them at night, and those movies, it's just like
Super scared.
security camera, and you go
Yeah.
from, it pans to the left to the right, nothing happens. Left to the right, nothing happens. Left to the right, nothing happens. And then all of a sudden, you see something as it's panning, you're like, oh shit, what was that?
Yeah.
And then it pans back, and it's gone, and then bam, it's a slow build of like boringness.
Right.
It just bores you into submission until when you see like a slight thing, that's when it gets you.
Well, we might be on the same page, just in what's effectively scary to us is something evolving in the shot and not relying on an edit
Right.
Yeah.
to be the punchline of your scare.
I should tell the most scared I've ever been during a movie was when I first lived in this house, or in, should I call it house?
Don't say the street name of my house, please.
When we'll bleep it. It'll be comically funny because we bleeped it,
Sure.
so everyone thinks we're in the fuck house.
Which we are.
Yeah, so I'll just call it the fuck house. So when I lived in the fuck house for the first time, I think it was Bo and Joe, and I don't think you were in the picture yet, but they made me watch is it High Tension?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The one
French
when they're in
movie?
the cave?
No.
Oh, Descent.
Descent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do not watch a lot of horror films. I saw Descent,
Oh my gosh.
and the scene where, spoiler for Descent, there's a scene where they're in the cave, and most of the movie is just them, like, arguing, and, like, the tension's rising because they're, like, stuck.
Right.
There's a scene where it's, like, black, maybe. It goes pitch black. It comes back on. You don't notice. I don't notice. I don't notice. The scene has not moved. There's no cuts. There's no tricks. Then I notice there are monsters standing in the background.
Oh,
I
yeah.
jumped out of my chair. I ran around the room. Because I must have been looking at it for a good like 20 seconds
Yeah.
before I noticed there were monsters in the background, and they were creepy. And I've never been more scared during a movie.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That
that's a scary
legit
movie.
got me.
That's cool. Because it's the lighting and it's the design of the creatures all coming together to be like a reveal in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
Rather than a jump cut that's just like, here's new information. And you're like, well, that's just jarring. And then throw a sound effect on it.
Yeah.
It's like, that doesn't really...
It goes back
It's a cheat.
to like when you're a kid. Like, what's one of your best memories of being in elementary school? It's of course looking at the optical illusions, and you try, of course, and you're staring at these things, and you can't get it, and you can't get it, and you think everyone's messing with you.
It's a schooner.
And you're like, get off my back, Johnny!
Schooner is a sailboat.
Yeah, you're like,
No.
quit fucking messing with me, Johnny. There's nothing there. And then you see it. And the moment you see it, it's like your world has opened. Everything you've known
Was a lie.
It was a lie. Like you're like, life is meaningless. What is there that I'm not seeing all the time? Like the light
What
bulb.
else could I stare at?
What else? Yeah, and that's why I just start staring at things all the time. And
That's-
I get a lot of letters from the police.
Yeah, well, you might just considering the types of scares that are effective on you, you might enjoy Insidious 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Because there's, like Bobby was just saying before we started rolling, the scene in 1 that made you stop watching the movie the first time.
Yeah. It was, I think, number 2, but I went to put it on as I was going to bed last night, or 2 nights ago, and immediately stopped the movie and was like, I just turned off the lights and was like laying down in bed with the laptop in front of my face. And it's like pure blackness, and then this old woman's face that has a black veil over it, like coming into frame. And I immediately just turned off my laptop and turned the lights back on and got on my phone. Yeah, it's super like I'm kind of desensitized to these movies at this point. But there are scenes in those first 2 that will make me definitely like turn on the lights and look around before I go to bed.
Yeah.
That made me think of another point too on why these movies are more fun scary too.
Yeah.
Because you could do like maybe one of these movies, but then if like the bad guy or monster is like a robber or like a murderer or a serial killer, that's too real for me. Like, I don't want to like go into bed going like, oh shit, a serial killer's going to break into my house and like shoot me. Like that could actually happen.
Right.
But like, you know, there's a fun level of being scared when it's like, oh, I heard a creepy noise in the basement. And it's funner if my mind goes, that might be a ghost. Versus, oh, that's probably just someone breaking into my house and going to murder me. So it's
Good
like,
point.
it's more fun to like.
It's more fun to not think that someone's breaking into your house and it's going to kill you.
Yeah, I just wanted to be a scary, skeleton key monster.
Maybe I got some ghosts.
Maybe I just got some ghosts. Maybe I'll be fine.
Well,
with that
should
said,
we rate this?
let's rate this trailer. Bobby, what do you
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I am pretty sure this is going to be a bad movie. I am pretty sure this is going to be on par with number 3, and it's not going to be as cool as 1 and 2. That being said, I'm still giving this a lot.
Ooh.
Because I am intrigued enough that I want to see it. I really enjoy the first 2 of these movies. And the other thing that's really pushing me over the edge with this one is that I thought the second one was going to be bad. And I went and saw it, and it sold me on the franchise. So
Now, did you really like it, or did you get like cursed into thinking you? Like,
well, if that's the case, I don't know about it. So you guys need to come into the further and rescue me.
Pull you out of the theater.
Yeah, pull me out of there. But yeah, I'm gonna go see this like opening night.
Nice.
I'm excited for it.
I'm gonna In Space with Zombies this one because of being burned by 2 and surprised by 2. I'm now diametrically split between both of those experiences. Kind of thinking along the lines of my explanation of why Jigsaw or the Saw series isn't working for me as a horror franchise, in that they just try to over-explain the universe. And perhaps what we enjoyed about 1 and 2 was just getting like enough information to kind of titillate like the bigger potential for how it all works, but actually knowing more about how it all works and getting what also seems like what they're doing is just like kind of throwing in new nonsense chapters of that universe. Like maybe just keep explaining the one thing rather than being, this other monster does this. And like, okay, but wait, how does that even relate? There's no correlation between these. I don't know. It seems like kind of silly to flip the game and be like, this is a totally different type of monster. He operates totally differently. Like, well, okay, I don't know. Same thing with the Purge movies. I'm like, I guess I don't really want to know about the government. I kind of want to know about the government that sanctions this whole thing, and I want an episode where we find out all about them. But then I saw 3, and I was like, nah, I didn't want that.
Yeah, we don't need to see the revolution.
So I don't know.
I have a feeling in this movie, only because it was snuck into the background of the 3rd one, that we're gonna get some carryover plot from that old woman monster from the first 3 movies.
Okay.
I think we're going to find out that there is a correlation between the random monster we got in the 3rd one, this new monster from the 4th one, and that old woman that's trying to kill Elise. I think they're all interconnected. Okay. We're going to get, whether it's a cheat move or not, I think we're going to get some kind of explanation that they're all like in cahoots with each other, or being controlled by some entity in the film.
Yeah, I don't know. It might just be like one of those, like, for instance, like when we saw Happy Death Day, I was like, this movie's great, but there's no way you could tell me who the killer is where I'll be like, that was a great choice.
Yeah.
Like, however this interrelates or whatever, I'm going to always kind of be a little bit disappointed, and maybe the point of it is not to explain it.
And, Bobby, you just summed up why I'm giving this trailer In Space with Zombies. The timeline, the jump scares, the loud noises I'm not into.
Yeah.
But I was very close to giving it like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like the key monster.
Yeah.
I like Del Toro. It had a very like Buffy Doctor Who monster vibe where some of them have like unique powers, like they turn off your voice or like they're in the corner of your eye. I like creeps like that. I like that the star that we're following is an old lady.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean,
don't think I've seen much of that. I guess in some of the classic.
Well, like, it's kind of... I always felt like it was a play on the poltergeist medium.
Right.
But having not the family be the main character, like, kind of eclipsing the family with, like, oh, she's the strong one, so she should be the focal point. Like, that this is what this movie's doing, is making that character the main attraction, which is cool. Like, it's very much...
It feels refreshing, even though it is like a borrowed, old trope, I guess.
And the fun thing is, like Bobby was saying, like when she rages ass on that demon in the Further in the other movie, it's like, so she's pretty badass too. Like,
that's worth. You guys should find a clip of that scene, or I'll help you find one, and you should link it to this episode because she headbutts another old woman that is a ghost. It is, and then like, oh my gosh, it's unreal.
Pretty fun.
That movie flips.
It's like a ghost fight club.
It goes a little further than you would expect.
How much can you really know about yourself if you get in a fight with a ghost?
I don't know. We gotta go deeper into the Further.
That's true. And with that, I think we need to go deeper into the movie babies further and outro this episode.
We gotta go deeper into the outro.
That was Insidious, the last key bender.
No, it's not creepy at all.
And that's the episode!
Excellent. Finally.
Spooky month is over!
Let's review like some just like more My Little Pony movies for November.
Alright, Sean, I got the perfect thing for you.
Yeah?
How about some superhero movies?
No.
We got
God.
Justice League. We got Thor.
Ugh.
Get ready.
You know what? I haven't seen that new Black Panther trailer, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Black Panther. It's coming out 2 days before my birthday. I'm calling it now. This is my birthday movie.
Okay.
It looks freaking sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Excited to see it.
To the point where I'm like, oh, I should read up on some of those old Black Panther comic books.
Nice.
Thank Bobby for coming on again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad I could finally do this.
Bobby,
Yost with the most.
Bobby, you're in bands and stuff. Do you want to promote them?
No, not at all.
Do you want to promote?
I'll let Sean do that. He's in most of them, so.
Do you want to promote your electronics class that you teach?
No, even less.
Alright.
Thank you for the opportunity. But
Do you want us to, like, digitize your voice? And, like,
oh, yeah.
change your name?
Can we do, like, Jigsaw voice? Or my voice?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
that'd be
Well,
cool.
hi kids, we're home early. Your voice. So we're just basically Bobby's just here to promote movies in general, just horror movies.
Just wasting your life watching too many movies. I am here to promote that lifestyle.
I think you're more like a PSA, like, don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be like the example of what not to do
Yeah.
for watching too much garbage.
He watched 32 movies in 16 days.
Well, I appreciate you being on the show because I felt like you really brought us back to our roots of home aloning things.
Yes.
And coming up with harebrained schemes to better these trailers, which I've gotten away from lately in previous episodes.
I think we're trying to solve too much of the world's problem.
We need to get back to what we know.
Bring it back to the important stuff. Home Alone in.
Unifying
going off
universes.
on wild tangents.
Yeah, exactly.
You can contact the Movie Babies on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. We have a website, www.moviebabies.com. Leave a review and I'll send you some crap. We have a YouTube series you can look at. And Bobby doesn't have anything. He doesn't. Bobby doesn't live here.
He's gone off the grid.
He's in the witness protection program now.
He's in the further.
Yeah, you're deep in the Further. You didn't know this, but all of our guests are now like you can't find them anymore.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
We just lock them in our basement and then pull them out when we need to like reference someone.
We need your expert from that category. Yes.
But with all that said, Sean.
Yes.
When you don't have time to watch a 2-minute trailer.
No shit. You should just cut in the actual audio.
Yeah, that's great. Go see that movie, because that's the Movie Babies.